Hey guys, in this week's video I got my brother Kevin.
What's up?
And we're going to be talking about the 90s. Yeah. I actually got the inspiration for this video because you left a comment on my last video.
Oh yeah? What comment did I leave? I don't remember.
You like the 80s, but you prefer the 90s because you're a 90s kid.
Right. Well, I think you naturally take on the decade that you grew up most in, you know.
Well, I prefer the 90s also, but I'm also like...
Well, I'm a huge,
I love the 80s.
I'm a huge 80s fan, but yeah, I do like the 90s better.
So we're just going to talk about, like, things we were into, like, movies we watched, like, kind of how it was like to be a 90s kid versus today.
Yeah, definitely quite a bit of a difference from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Not that I've grown up today, so I wouldn't know, but just by viewing, yeah.
So let's start with some simple, like, movies, I guess.
I think 90s movies I watch, I think Angels in the Outfit for whatever reason.
Well, you did watch that movie a lot.
I did, yeah.
That
is a 90s movie, right? That's not late 80s, is it? No,
I'm pretty sure it's 1990 something. Because, you know, the classic Disney movies now, like Pocahontas, Lion King, all those other...
Oh, yeah. Aladdin was early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
The Lion King, I guess, is probably the one that sticks out in most people's head. Because it's definitely one of Disney's popular. Yeah, Toy Story's a big one.
The first one.
The first one, yeah. I think the second one didn't come until early 2000s, did it?
Yeah. So. It's weird to think that those movies are kind of like classic movies now.
Yeah.
But those were just the popular movies.
Right.
What would you say your favorite movie was?
Oh, boy. Let's see. Favorite movie in the 90s?
I know it changes a lot when you're a kid.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched a whole lot of 90s movies, to be honest with you. Well, I don't know. I can't seem to get Angels in the Outfit out of my head, so I guess I'll talk about that one. I don't know if this would be my favorite movie, but it's definitely a movie I watched a lot. Danny Glover in it. I liked him as a character. I thought he had a lot of good character development, and I just liked that as a kid. He was definitely my favorite. So.
Who played the angel? What's his name? Christopher Lloyd?
Oh, Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, he was really good in the movie, too. Yeah.
He's, like, in flipping everything. And as a kid, I didn't realize
he got so popular because of Back to the Future in the 80s. So it's like in the 90s, you kept seeing him in all kinds of movies. Yeah. Or hearing his voice in cartoons and stuff. Yeah. Oh, another movie. Oh, I just thought of my favorite movie, probably the 90s. I would probably put Terminator 2 as probably my favorite. That's definitely...
That's in the 90s?
Yeah.
I thought that was an 80s movie.
No, that's the 90s.
Oh.
Terminator is the 80s, Terminator 2 is the 90s, Terminator 3 is 2000.
Oh.
It's always like a decade apart.
I thought the first two were in the 80s and the other ones were in the 90s.
Nope.
And
Terminator
early
2 is in the 90s. I think it was made in like 93 or something like that. Mm. But yeah, that's definitely a movie. That's actually the movie I got introduced into the Terminator series because I started watching it on Sci-Fi on TV a lot because that's back then.
That movie came on TV a lot.
Yeah. Well, that was around the time Terminator 3 was being made. So I kept watching it a lot, because that was back when people actually watched TV.
And watch movies on TV. No one watches movies on TV anymore.
Nope.
Too many commercials. Yeah. I think my favorites would have to be, as a little kid, like The Lion King and Toy Story. Because I remember we would, like, leave the room and pretend and see if our toys were alive.
Oh, God. I think just about every kid did that.
Yeah, probably, but...
Yeah. But yeah, I do remember doing that a lot, yeah. It's like, we were like, oh, I almost got you.
He's like, let's see if our toys are alive. Like, peek through the door. Like, even if they were alive, like, they weren't stupid. Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't want to hurt my toy, because what if it's alive?
Oh, really? I guess I didn't have that, because I always threw mine against the wall. Like, someone got punched, they couldn't just simply go, ooh, they had to go, ah! It wasn't real enough for me.
No, after that movie, I felt like it was like, just in case they're alive, I have to be nice to them.
No, I did kind of question it a few times if my toys were actually alive, but that never bothered me enough to where I had to be careful with them. I was still pretty rough with them. So.
Well, it wasn't just that. I just liked to take care of my stuff.
Yeah, true.
Well, so
I was a rough little boy.
We should switch to Dragon Ball Z TV shows.
Okay.
Because that makes me think Dragon Ball Z, playing with toys.
Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. That was really popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
Even though it's not like a 90s show.
Definitely my roughest toys I was ever on was my Dragon Ball Z toys. Because that was really when I got into action figures. Because before that, we mostly just played with miscellaneous types of toys. Yeah. Some were big, some were small, We had stuffed animals and everything, But after we got into DBZ, I really got into action figure toys, and those are the ones I usually collected. I know you were more of a collector of them. You would buy them, and there were some you would
Not
even
even-
take out of the case. There was a couple of them. I think there was one Piccolo toy you left in the case.
Probably.
But mine, I always opened them up right away.
No, I took it out of the case, but I would put it back in there really gently.
Yeah,
Make it
you would
look
always
good.
take it out really well, so that way you could put it back in.
Yeah, I don't know. That was
The
pointless.
only toy I ever took care of at first, I didn't later, but was those If Laughs, those giant figures they made. I think I had a giant Goku and you had a giant Piccolo.
Oh, yeah.
I did take care of my Goku really well at first, but then after a while I got carried away and just started fighting with it too.
Well, I didn't play with the big ones because they didn't match the same size.
Oh, okay.
So it just stayed
I
on
just
the shelf.
pretended like he got really big because I had wild matched it.
I did
It's like
sometimes.
Goku got enormous. This is a new transformation. Or I made him a bad guy because they made Goku look really evil like that. So
Yeah.
I was like, he looks like a bad guy. You know?
Well, they did all kinds of crap like that on the show, so it wasn't that far fetched.
That's true. Yeah.
Another show we weren't into this one a whole lot, which was every '90s kid got into pretty much was Pokemon,
Oh yeah, I think Pokemon was definitely our introduction to anime because
which is most kids.
when we moved schools. Like I was in the 3rd grade, and I think you were in the 4th grade. We
Yeah.
moved to another school, and I don't know what it was about this other school versus the other one we were going to, but when we started going there, and that's what everybody was talking about was Pokemon. I was like, okay, what is this? So I checked it out, and of course, you know, I watched it. So
yeah, we didn't watch that one for very long because we got
Yeah.
into Dragon Ball Z.
right, well,
And
I had a few.
the Dragon Ball Z
yeah.
was everything.
Yeah, I had a few friends that were more into Dragon Ball Z than they were in Pokemon, so they kept talking about it, and I got interested. So, but the problem is they both came on at the same time, so I had to kind of pick one. So I went with Dragon Ball Z after a while because I liked the idea of the time travel of Trunks coming from the future. I was really obsessed with time travel at the time, so I thought that was really cool. So that's kind of what pulled me into the show. Of course, that's not even the main part of the show, and that's what pulled me in. You know?
Gosh, what made me like that show? Probably just all the violence.
Oh, that's what kind of pulled you in.
Probably.
It was definitely a lot more, you know, not as kiddie as Pokemon was, you know, because Pokemon was more about the comedy, you know, and every episode
And being
was,
stupid.
yeah, every episode kind of begins and ends the same way, you know.
Team Rocket
yeah,
is always
blasting off again.
It's always a villain, and they can't do anything.
And you know, Misty always had to choose the wrong Pokemon. It came out. She always wanted Horsey, and it always came out Psyduck every time. Every
yeah.
episode it did that. You know, I think the show's probably quite a bit different now. I don't know. I haven't watched it in years,
Yeah, I haven't
because
watched
they've
it.
changed a lot. You know, because now there's like 800 Pokemon, and they've got carried away with it.
Oh, remember when the Pokemon movie came out? And
Oh,
it was
when they introduced
Mew and
Mewtwo.
and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh,
It's a new Pokemon. Whoa.
what?"
And he has a force field.
I remember going to the theaters and
Yeah,
watching
we went
that.
to the theater, and that was our introduction to Pokemon cards because they give you those couple free
yeah.
cards with your ticket.
That's right.
And that's when we started trying to collect those. But we didn't collect them very long because it wasn't very long after that we got out of the show. So
Yeah.
But we did start collecting Dragon Ball Z cards later. So
Yeah, I still have those.
yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh for a little bit.
Yeah, we did. We had some cousins that were into Yu-Gi-Oh, so we watched it kind of off and on. But it was a show I felt like I was trying to get myself into, and I just didn't feel like I was super interested as I was as Dragon Ball Z. It got boring quick. I think the biggest appeal with Yu-Gi-Oh with most kids was just all the collectibles, like the cards, and then you could collect those little Egyptian toy things that came with the show, you know.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest appeal with that show. Kind of the same thing with Pokemon, you know. I think people like the idea of collecting all the different Pokemon, so I mean, heck, that was even their slogan. So, but
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, it was just like the story was so good, so it pulled you in. So,
Well, that's like real anime. Pokemon is just it's just based off the game, isn't it? And they just made a show after it.
yeah, I think so. I heard that somewhere that it was actually a game they made, and then they based a show off some game.
Yeah, because the game was so
So,
popular.
and I was just
I
like,
mean, I could be
that
wrong.
shocked me when I heard that news. I was like, wow, I did not know that. Yeah.
I could be wrong
So-
about that, but that's just what I've heard.
We didn't really watch a whole lot of other anime shows. We did watch a few because that was around the time that, you know, thanks to some of these shows getting so popular, they started releasing some others from Japan to America. You know, on Toonami, they started showing a lot of... That was when we got into some of the weirder anime shows that they had on there. I don't even remember the name of that one. Do you remember that anime show that we watched kind of off and on? It was like they had some bed they had to go, and there was some weird voice that talked to him. It's hard to describe. I have it in my head.
No, I don't
There
remember
was
that.
It was like they were kind of young kids in the show, probably about the same age as like the Pokemon characters. But you were the one that introduced me to the show. You said it was pretty interesting. The story was really weird though, because it was like they were like in a video game or something, but they had this weird.
I don't remember that
I
at
don't
all.
remember. I tried to look it up a long time ago, but I couldn't. I've googled it, know what I was talking about. It's like weird bad. What? Anyways, we'll get off that one. I don't remember.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You introduced me to it though. We didn't
Okay.
watch it very long.
I must have been like tired or something when I watched that show. Like
It came on at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
It was one of the weird ones.
I was probably
Like,
half
kinda like,
asleep watching that show or something.
Cowboy Bebop was another one that kind of came on later at night. So, and you know, the G Gundam, we were into G Gundam.
I remember watching G Gundam. Not G Gundam Wing, but
Yeah,
G
Gundam Wing was stupid, but
Yeah.
G Gundam was actually a pretty good show.
Yeah, it's okay.
So for the time, you know, now it would be dumb if I went back.
Yeah, I
and
tried to
watched-
rewatch it and I was like,
Oh, you did?
this
I hadn't
is
watched
dumb.
that show in years. But I do remember how repetitive that show was. It's like they
It's
kept
very
using the
repetitive.
same animation like over and over again, where he'd get into the Gundam like robot thing.
Mhm. And he has to put this like plastic,
Yeah, because it
Rubber
helps
suit
control
thing,
it.
you know?
Yeah, and it's like it like crushes.
and it
over.
shows his butt every time. And his foot, it's like foot come plopping out of the ooze.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember thinking that was so cool when I was a kid. I'd see like his foot coming up like that, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Yeah, that's not very cool.
Yeah, the show was really corny too. I
Yeah,
remember
it's very
that being
corny.
very corny.
Yeah, that show's very corny.
But yeah, I think that's about all the anime shows we were really super into.
Yeah.
Now as far as cartoons, just like American cartoons, we love to watch
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. I
Cartoon
watched
Network.
Cartoon Network a little bit later on. I think Nickelodeon's a little bit more for younger kids, so I liked that better when I was little.
See, I would go back and forth between which one I liked better.
Yeah. When I got older, I got more into Cartoon Network. So.
Yeah.
Because I like to watch shows like Ed, Edd and Eddy and Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Lab.
Oh, I love Dexter's Lab.
And,
I even like the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, I was into that show. A lot of guys were. I knew a lot of my guy friends that liked that show, so I don't feel weird saying that. Had a lot of action in it.
Yeah, it does actually.
The main ones we watched.
Yeah.
So I remember liking probably Ed, Edd
Oh,
and
Cow
Eddy
and
the
Chicken.
most.
We didn't watch that one though.
It came on kind of late at night. We'd watch it, you know. That was kind of the thing about TV back then versus like today. You know, it's like today you can kind of pick and choose more what you want to watch. Back then you kind of just had to watch what was on. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, Cow and Chicken's on. I guess I'll watch that.
Yeah.
You just put up with it, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's
Nowadays-
either that or watch some fruity movie on the Disney Channel, and I'll take
Oh,
that. So
We never watched the Disney Channel.
I did
much.
off and on, but not very often. The cartoons on there were horrible to me.
Oh,
I
the
hated the
cartoons suck.
cartoons on there. Yeah,
The shows were okay, like Even Stevens and Kim Possible was okay.
Kim Possible. Yeah,
I think that's like the only shows I liked on there.
I remember watching
Sister and Sister was okay.
Sister. I watched with Elizabeth off and on, but it wasn't a show I was like into.
Yeah.
The only show I never refused to watch with her was Lizzie McGuire because I hated that show.
Oh, that show was so stupid.
Because I can't stand Hilary Duff's acting. So.
I'm sorry if people like Lizzie McGuire, but I hated that show.
Yeah.
Her acting was terrible.
She overacts way too much.
Yeah.
That was
That's something that hasn't changed. The Disney Channel.
Yeah,
The shows
I think
are
it's pretty well
different.
got the same formula, just new actors, kind of the
The
same.
shows are different, but
Yeah.
it's the same formula, same dynamics. It's
Pretty
the
much,
same.
yeah. Because it's like nowadays, well, for a while, I mean, it's been a while since I watched the Disney Channel, but you know, it's like when they had Hannah Montana was sort of like the modern day, I guess, Lizzie McGuire, sort of,
Yeah.
except with a different spin on it, where she was
Different
had two
story.
different personalities, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had, you know, that Zach and Cody show was pretty popular.
Oh yeah.
But those are, I don't know really exactly what they play on there as of right now. It's been a while since I've seen television.
What's that
so-
wizard show? Wizards of Waverly Place? Is that what that's called?
I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
got
that
Selena
one.
Gomez in it. I don't even know
Oh,
if that
okay.
show's still on.
Oh, okay.
I doubt it is.
Selena. I didn't know she was ever on TV.
You didn't know she started on Disney?
No, I just
Yeah.
thought she was just some pop singer that got popular
she
because of
started on
Justin
Disney.
Bieber. I don't know.
Wow, you're old. You don't even know.
I don't know anything. I feel really old now. It's the beard. It makes me old. No.
It was pretty sad when I knew that.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. I haven't watched TV in so long. It's not even funny, and I don't know anything about that stuff. So
Yeah, I don't even have cable anymore.
yeah, I don't know a whole lot of people that do.
Yeah.
It's not younger people anyway.
Old people do.
So older people that still they don't know how the internet works or
Pretty
have no
much.
interest in it. You know.
Yeah. Let's see. Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I remember us being really into Rocket Power, especially you.
Oh,
you were
gosh.
really into that show.
Skateboarding
Yeah.
was the thing in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I mean it's always been a thing, but in the 90s it was a huge explosion, especially the late 90s. So
I was a huge skater punk.
Mostly because I think Tony Hawk kind of brought it back so much, because he became such a big famous skater, and then everybody wanted to be like him.
I know, I was such a big fan of Tony Hawk, and I was like looking back on him, like he wasn't even that good.
Yeah. He was just popular because I guess
sometimes people get popular just because
for whatever reason.
Yeah, because that's the only person they know in the skating world. So
just an identity thing that people chase after, I guess. I don't know, for no really reason. But yeah, he was definitely a big deal because they even had a bunch of video games based off him.
Yeah,
it's like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, which I'll admit they're kind of dated now, but I will admit the music in those games. What was it about those games where the music was so awesome?
Yeah,
I was like,
those games are still playable.
Yeah, they're playable, but they are a tad bit dated now.
Yeah, they are.
That was another thing kind of about especially late 90s when it came to video games. It's like there was a lot of, pretty much no matter what genre you were into, there was something for you, unlike nowadays it's all, kind of geared toward first person shooters. But back then it was just like, you like platformers, there's a bunch of those. You like shooters, there's a bunch of those. You like adventure games, you name it, they got a bunch of them. What were some of the video games you really liked in the 90s, or probably more late 90s, because I think that's when we got more into gaming?
Well, Jack and Dexter, which we talk about on his channel.
Yeah.
Mario Kart.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. We played a lot of Mario Kart 64. Do you remember going to our cousin's house and playing the
Diddy Kong Racing?
I forgot about Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah.
That is an awesome game. It's almost more addicting than Mario 64. Almost. Yeah.
Almost.
So I'd put those pretty close together, But I remember playing Mario 64. We didn't even really play the game properly. We kept just running around climbing up trees and stuff because we were horrible at video games back then.
Yeah, we didn't know what to do.
Because the first level we got too scared of the enemies and stuff. Because especially Chain Chomp, he'd come toward you and you're like, oh my god.
I didn't like playing the levels. Yeah. I just like going around the castle being stupid.
Yeah. That's why I loved buying used games back then, and people would unlock the gameplay for you, and that way you could just adventure around like the unlocked areas and you wouldn't have to actually play levels.
Kids can be perverted sometimes, and they're just like, when you climb the tree, it looks like he's humping it. When you get to the very top, you remember that?
Oh no, I don't remember that.
And we're like,
I do remember
the tree.
I do remember you could make him stand like on his hands when you got to the top. He would go like upside down. I thought that was really cool, and then you could do like a flip off of it. I remember us doing like that over and over. It was like we were so entertained for like hours, just walking around climbing up trees. I was like, they could have just made a tree simulating game, and we'd had fun back then.
Yeah, for real.
I think that's why a lot of people like so many simulation games like The Sims and stuff like that, to where it's just so simple, but there's just there's so much you can kind of want to do. You choose what you want to do.
Versus Sims. Sims 1. We played that.
The first Sims, yeah, that was definitely toward the very peak of the end of the 90s there.
That might have been 2000s.
That might have even been early 2000s, yeah. But I do remember some of the computer games I loved playing before The Sims was Driver. I remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog on there because I didn't have a Genesis for a while, but later on
we did play that on the computer.
Yeah. We did finally get a Nintendo. I was about to say Nintendo Genesis. Yeah. It's got to been sacrilege to some people. Don't mix those.
Yeah.
They're verses.
Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis. We finally got that, and I think it came with Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I love to play as Knuckles.
I thought you played Sonic and I played Knuckles.
I played both usually. I liked Knuckles though because the levels I thought were better, and I hated the underwater Sonic levels, and they always wanted to make you go underwater. I hated that.
Yeah.
Sonic sucks underwater. I'm like, quit doing that. But Knuckles was cool because his levels were better. So.
You want to go fast when you play Sonic and go through all the loops. You don't want to go underwater. Let's see. Let's talk about the internet.